All right, hello BBT. Welcome to our new segment called After Hours with Trader. There's a new segment we're trying out. We're going to talk about what happened in the market last week, what are the news that came out. We'll watch some TikTok videos, see some reactions. We'll go over Twitter, news and events. So brand new segment. We're really excited to launch this. And this first episode, Andrew's going to be involved in this as well. But this first episode, we're with Prophets of Profit, Brian Peasant. Brian, welcome.
Yeah, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. And yeah, looking forward to kicking this off. This is the very first YouTube video we've got going here with this After Hours segment. So yeah, looking forward to it. So let's get into it.
Yeah, let's get into it. So we are, for those of you who are wondering, we are actually in our Vancouver office space. We have an office where we have developers and traders trading with us. So really excited. And this room, which is beautifully designed, is specifically for this segment and for you guys. So if you like this video, make sure to like it, subscribe it for sure. That helps us a lot. Before we start, Brian, I have a question, and this has been on my mind ever since I joined BBT. Mm-hmm. Why are you Prophets of Profit? I really want to know.
Well, I think someone who one of our other moderators gave me that title.
Right.
I believe it was Thor, and I guess it just came out of this this knack I guess I have to sort of pick out things, target prices where are going and finding bottoms, picking bottoms. So I guess I earned this this title from Thor.
I love it.
Yeah,
I love it.
And with trading with him in the morning, it's been lots of fun. So
it's definitely fun. Yeah, for sure. If you're not part of our chat room, there's going to be a link in the description, so make sure to check it out. So let's start. Let's do a quick market wrap up. What happened in the market, Brian? What did you see? What's coming up next week?
Well, what I saw last week was kind of interesting, especially in the latter part of the week. We had the Qs obviously pushing to all-time highs, very strong technology sector. And then you had the Dow in the small cap index, the IWM, heading lower. So it was a real, divergence of indexes. And, it just, the Dow and the IWM tend to be a little bit more economically sensitive, as you know. So it seems to me that there was a little bit of a concern in the market that maybe economics aren't going to be as good going forward. Of course, a lot of that was spurred by the renewed thoughts of lockdowns in Europe that might be coming. So I think investors and traders sort of took that to heart. But again, and as far as I'll make another comment about the internals of the market, it seems like there's some of the big cap stocks, as you probably noticed as well, are pushing to highs and all-time highs. Like Amazon had a great week, Apple had another breakout week, but about half the stocks are not performing that well. Half the stock market are below the 50 and the 200-day moving average. So it's again a little bit of a tale of two markets. Let's call it that.
I saw some really interesting, I think a couple of weeks ago, that we're seeing a systematic risk in the market with the big technologies, because they're like 40% of the S&P.
Absolutely.
So nothing could go wrong with Apple. Nothing could go wrong with Netflix. They're specifically too big to fail.
Yes.
If they're in a 08, the banks were too big to fail. Now in this market, the techs are too big to fail. They should not fail at all.
Yep.
And then this week, of course, we got the GDP number coming on Wednesday. This is going to be a shorter trading week. Happy Thanksgiving to all the Americans out there. But any other economic data that is coming out?
I think we've got the FOMC meeting minutes that are coming out. We do have a fair amount of economic data that's coming this week. We've got jobless claims, we've got housing starts. So, all those things are watched by the market. And of course, the minutes from the FOMC will be interesting as well. So, but I think, like as you said, it's going to be a weird week, as every Thanksgiving week is. It's 3 days of trading, 1 day off, and then sort of a half day, which is volume's usually really light on that Friday.
That Friday, it's a half day,
So,
for earnings, we have HP, Best Buy, and Agilion Technologies. Those are some of the notable ones. We know you're big on the earnings with the options sometimes. Are you playing
Sometimes I don't often trade earnings with stocks. I just don't, as I explained in my book, I tend to stay away from trading stocks through earnings just because things are just so unpredictable as to which way they can go.
Yeah.
If I do trade through earnings, I'll usually do it through options because at least, you can define your risk.
Exactly.
So, and some of my better option plays that I've had have been waiting for the earnings to come out and then letting letting those stocks find new levels and then selling puts or selling calls against those levels. But interesting. You missed Zoom. Zoom is another one that's coming out. Zoom will be coming out on Monday, so that's your lockdown trade. So it'll be interesting to see how they do. But yeah, we've got a smattering of technology stocks, and we've got a number of retailers too, which retailers have been doing really well this season.
Yeah.
I think we've got Dick's as well coming out.
Yeah, Home Depot just crushed their earnings last week.
And Lowe's responded pretty well too, I believe. So.
Yeah, so still lots of opportunities if you're a trader, for sure.
Still lots of earnings, particularly Tuesday and Wednesday especially.
Let's get to the news for the week. Did you hear about the Constitution being outbid by Ken Griffin? Did you read that news?
Oh yeah, I scanned over that.
Yeah.
That was funny.
That's super interesting.
Yeah.
So I had no idea. There's this thing called DAOs or DAOs in crypto market, which stands for Decentralized Autonomous Organizations, which is basically a corporate structure. People invest in this blockchain, completely decentralized. And they were betting for Constitution. 42 million. Mm-hmm. But one of the flaws with this is that you can actually see based on the money, because it's open source, how much they're going to bid.
Yeah.
And apparently Ken Griffin, the CEO of Citadel, the market making firm, outbid the crypto bros by $1. So people are saying that's a war. He's going after from payment for order flows to outbidding for crypto. So I think that was pretty interesting.
That was a funny thing, and it was and the crypto people are sort of against the old establishment there. So that was a bit of a sand kick in the face, right? Yeah. So interesting. So back to Twitter. I don't know if you guys remember, Elon Musk tweeted, there was a World Hunger Organization said that all they need is $2 billion, which is, or $6 billion, which is like a tiny fraction of Elon Musk's net worth to solve world hunger. So Elon Musk, of course, very active on Twitter, said, if you can open source it and say what you want to do with the money, I'll give out the money happily, no problem. We'll put that tweet chain somewhere in the screen once we're doing the editing. But it was very interesting. But the World Hunger Organization actually came up with a plan. Yeah.
So they came up with a plan. So now the ball is in Elon's court, if it was a publicity stunt or if he's really about helping
it.
What do you think, Brian?
Yeah, certainly. They did come out and sort of call his bluff. So, and you never know with Elon. I mean, he's the kind of guy who just could surprise you, I mean, he'll follow through with what he did. I mean, if you look at what he did last week, selling, he said he was going to sell all his shares, and that's what he did.
Yeah.
So. He's just, he marches to the beat of his own drum, right?
So apparently they looked at the filing that he did for those shares, and the date was back in September. Okay, so he already was planning to sell them, but then he did this publicity stunt on Twitter.
Yeah.
It's hard to be a Tesla shareholder. Like I'm always advocating for trading Tesla, don't own Tesla, because it's having a CEO like that. Yeah,
he's a wild card. I mean, he, like I said, he marches to the beat of his own drum, and he's he's kind of one of those geniuses but sometimes he just doesn't care, and other times he does. But the one thing you can't do is short Tesla, because look at what happened last week. It pulled back and hit 1,000, and actually I think it put in a little double bottom there, and that's held the 1,000 level. That's where I shorted some puts. and let them expire.
And that's actually been one of my most profitable
Yeah.
trades, is just selling puts on Tesla.
Yeah.
Because the worst that could happen is it comes down and then you have to buy 100 shares of Tesla,
Yeah, yeah.
which I own, because
Yeah.
I know eventually Tesla is going to go up.
Eventually it's going to
Yeah.
go back up because it's like one of those cult stocks.
Cult stocks, exactly, yeah.
People just want to own it, and there's lots of support in the hedge fund community as well for it.
Oh, yeah.
You know, big investors are heavily invested in it, and they just see it as a long-term story.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So speaking of Tesla shorts, Dr. Berry, he deleted his Twitter again after like 10 times, I think. He's been shorting Tesla. He had a big position. I think notional exposure was around 400 million, and he closed that position obviously with a loss. What do you think, Brian?
Well, I think again, it just plays to the point that it's really hard to short stocks that are essentially what we call cult stocks, and you know, Tesla is definitely a cult stock. Apple would probably fall into that as well. You know, it's hard to, and you know, and you can tell it's a cult stock because when you get people of higher profile tweeting something negative about it, they get death threats, you know, on Twitter and stuff like that, and it just shows you that there's people out there that are heavily invested in it.
Yeah.
You know, so it's just a really hard stock to short. You know.
My personal big Twitter moment, Brian, is Dr. Berry has actually blocked me on Twitter.
Oh yeah.
I swear.
Okay.
So
there you go.
That's
exciting.
I replied to his tweet that you're gonna get toasted on your Tesla shorts.
Yeah.
And he actually blocked me.
Oh, okay.
So
well,
that's my.
Well, yeah. Let's not talk. I don't want to. Yeah, but
15 minutes of fame.
But let's not. Twitter's a challenging environment to be playing in. Yeah. Anyway.
All right, the next tweet we're going to react to is from our fearless leader, Andrew. He talks about Rivian. Rivian electronic vehicle is worth 150 billion. We've talked about this a lot in the chat room.
Yeah.
How it's more valuable than Ford. Ford is, of course, invested in Rivian. What do you think?
Well, as you know, they've got Ford, they've got Amazon supporting them. I mean, a lot of time we joke about this in the room, of course, about how, you know, we don't use the F word in the room anymore. The F word being fundamentals, not what you're thinking. So, so yeah, I mean, some of the valuations that the markets are attaching to some of these companies are just, you know, they're not explainable with fundamentals. So. They just turn into momentum trades, you know, and you know, it's not like the momentum's going to flip around anytime soon. So you know, they're just you just got to go with it, right?
Exactly.
You know, price is truth, as they say.
Yeah, I talked about it in the chat room on Thursday. I said we have two type of bubbles. We have a structural bubbles and we have fundamental bubbles. A structural bubbles is like when the math doesn't make sense, like a company is spin off a part of it, and then all of a sudden that spin off is more valuable. Those structural bubbles usually don't last. You can short them, you can profit from them. But the fundamental bubbles, those are the ones you should be worried about because you don't know when they're going to burst. Market could stay irrational for a really, really long time, and valuation is subjective. Like someone could say, no, based on their 2025 revenue estimate, they're actually undervalued. How are you going to argue with that, right? Like, or if Saudi Arabia's sovereign wealth fund start buying Rivian, how can you beat that, right? So that's another thing. As traders, you should be really careful with these fundamental bubbles because they don't burst. But if you found a structural bubbles, which sometimes you do find, like I talked about DraftKings when it was at $70 a share. Yeah. Their market cap was bigger than total addressable market of gaming industry. Like it was obvious that is not sustainable. So look for those structural bubbles. Don't go after these fundamentals because you're gonna get burned. Yeah.
Yeah, they say the market can remain irrational longer than you can remain solvent. So just always bear that in mind. Don't try to rationalize something in your mind that it's a good short or long.
Yeah.
When the market's telling you something different.
Exactly. Yeah. Always the market is always right? At the price action.
Yep.
And the last tweet, Apple, some footage.
Another Apple news, car news event.
iCar, yeah.
We've had a few of them, and there are lots of rumors, but no, again, it's it'll be interesting.
It'll be definitely.
It'll be a game changer for Apple, because Apple has really been sticking kind of with their core stuff, and this is really out of the box for them a little bit. So, but it'll be interesting. I'm sure it'll garner a lot of interest, and probably a lot of people wanting to have an Apple car.
Yeah, exactly. It'll be. I would love one.
Yeah, for sure.
It depends on my trading profit until 2025, but I would personally love one.
Yeah. Be the first in Vancouver, maybe.
Yeah, why not? Who knows? All right, so this last segment of After Hours with Traders, we react to TikToks. Of course, TikTok is a really popular platform. Videos are usually short, but trading is something that actually takes time. We've handpicked these videos. Some of them are good, some of them are bad. Brian has not seen them, so his reaction is going to be truly authentic.
This is how I make $500 a day trading. It's that easy, and anyone can do it. Hop onto TradingView, click on indicators here, and I'll type in signal. Click this first one right here, QQE. Bang, there we go. It tells us exactly when to buy and sell our currency pair. We can try with another one, USD, JPY. Sell, buy, sell, buy, sell, buy.
What do you think, Brian? $500 every day?
Yeah, if it was, as with all of these things, if it was that easy, everybody would be doing it, and it would essentially, negate itself, if everybody started doing the same thing.
Exactly.
So, and that one obviously is related to currency pairs. And that's definitely a market that I haven't traded in very much, but it's very much sort of a big boys, big girls market for sure. You got to have a lot of money, highly capitalized.
It's a lot of it is event driven, fundamental driven.
Yeah.
What is Bank of Canada doing? What is European Central Bank doing?
Yeah.
What is the swap market telling us? It's very complicated. So be careful just finding some easy indicators, and they have lots of false positives and lots of false negatives.
And there's a lot of very sophisticated traders that are doing the currency markets. So you're really in with not a lot of retail, a lot more institution for sure.
Yeah. All right, let's see the second one. I love TikTok.
This indicator is still the best trading glitch no one uses. Go to indicators and add SAR. Buy when it shows green dots. Then sell when it shows red dots.
Oh, that's easy.
Like this.
Brian, why are you not doing this? Why are you every week sending out emails detailing economic data that is coming out?
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, I mean, again, this just plays to sort of the oversimplification of trading that people push. You know? And it's It's I don't know what stars you were talking about. It looked like red candles. So you just buy anything that's printing a red candle, or sell anything that's printing a red candle, and buy anything that's printing a green candle. That's a good way to generate a lot of income for your broker.
That's 100%. Exactly. You make the broker rich.
Yeah.
I mean, in our community, we really advocate for keeping it simple, but still having a systematic approach. And Brian, I think 3 times a week you send out an email talking about twice a week, talking about the big picture, macro, and then kind of narrow it down. So go check out Bearable Traders, put your email in there, and you receive Brian's email. Really, really informative. Very, very interesting. That's it for this week. So we talked about what's happening in Twitter, what's happening this week. some of the earnings might have actually happened by the time we post this in our YouTube channel. So very interesting. Of course, we're giving this format a try. So if you have any suggestions, if you think we should talk about something specifically, make sure to leave it in the comment section. If you enjoyed this and you want to see more of this, definitely like, subscribe. Check out Brian's book, How to Swing Trade. He's also working on a second book. Hopefully we'll get that in first half of 2022, you think?
I'm hoping sort of first quarter of the new year. Well, we'll see, hopefully. And of course, check out your book.
Yes, absolutely. Stock Market Explained, yeah. And of course, Andrew's How to Day Trade for a Living, which is a classic. We do trade every day. We have a great chat room, a great community. So feel free to check that out as well. With that being said, thanks for sticking with us. Thanks for being, Brian. First episode, thank you.
Yeah, happy to be a part of this kickoff. So
cheers to that.
Yeah.
There's Bailey's in this coffee. So cheers to that.
All right.
All right, everyone. Have a good one and trade safe.
Take care. Bye now.